DARKWINGS really, really shined in. And we'll see if the priorities shift a little bit for Maryville as they're now down to St. Louis. I think this is the first game all CLOL season that they lost to SLU.
One that we definitely did not expect, a position that we were not thinking they would be in, but now needing to bounce back, and credit to SLU for how they played it so far. Bans getting run back. Biggest thing I want to see, no B1 Senna. Look, Jerry and Spirax, you guys are great players. Play more selfishly. I don't want to see them on the facilitator picks.
Now what's interesting here is if that Varus gets taken away, it limits some of those options that Maryville can go for. The Senna's going to be hovered again. The Callista also not an option. The biggest lane bully right now is that Lucian Hawk, and there are answers into that if Maryville decide to pick at B1.
Oh, and the Senna hover is making me so nervous. I mean, I think at this point, yes, B1 something else. I love this. Let SLU dictate what the pace of the bottom lane is going to be, and instead deny something like the Talia that is so incredibly strong. I love this for Spirax, and now it's going to put DARKWINGS in a position where he does have to answer.
Now, what will the response be for the Billikens? The Senna will be hovered and locked in. That's something that Airren played a lot earlier in this CLOL season, but not something that they played really at all against UST. It's going to be matched alongside the Hui, so some long-range artillery damage here in the first two picks for SLU.
Yeah, I like this one coming out. I mean, DARKWINGS has played this champion really well. I think it was actually played in the game 3 and 4, I want to say, against UST when they managed to win in lower finals, but shoe on the other foot. Lucian Nami Talia here for Maryville. St. Louis, way more about the scaling team fighting. They do have the really long range of the Hui, but I think this identifies just way more towards MU's comp. Airren, you know, we think of him more as a Senna player than Scary Jerry, so it is a bit more comfort there, but I think just stylistically, I like this much better for the Saints.
I am a little bit worried, though, for SLU's bottom lane now, because we saw how, you know, Airren and SkyTec were able to take control of that bottom lane in the reverse matchup. This is Scary Jerry and Zyko. We talked about why they were very favored in this bottom lane matchups, because they can take over lanes like this in matchups where St. Louis is going to try to hold the line. So maybe, do we see like a lane swap or something? Do we try to get Airren and SkyTec out of this lane in a position where they can impact the map elsewhere?
You know, St. Louis has not loved the lane swap so far, but it's not bad this game because it also denies a lot of what Talia is able to bring to the table as far as her prio a little bit early on. I will say I am expecting to not see blind TF again here from Srtty because it's this time Maryville that has way more aggression and ability to play towards side lanes. So it makes the TF a much riskier pick. I think we're going to see R5 for him and probably just Winnie's pick, especially because in that game 1, we did see how well Niles was able to match into it with the Rumble.
But looking very similar in terms of the ban categories. Yuuji's Lee Sin, once again taken out of the table. Niles, once again, having that Jax ban. The answer this time for MU, though, is the Twisted Fate being banned out. So they don't like any matchup, really, for Niles, even though he did pretty good playing that Rumble in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was still really impactful for Srtty, but I love this Zhao hover. I would really like to see this one get locked in here for Winnie. I just think it's able to buy so much space, especially paired with the Senna. You have an incredibly strong skirmisher that can just be difficult to remove, especially by things like Talia Lucian, a lot of long-range damage there. So great pick here from Winnie. Also, of course, a playmaker, which we know he likes to go towards.
It's two tools that can buy space here for SLU's backline, right? Airren and DARKWINGS on these two picks, they're going to want to dish out a ton of damage without getting caught out too much. With, you know, the Crescent Guard from Winnie and with engages from SkyTec, they're going to make sure that their carries stay alive. The response on the other side for Maryville is going to be a blind Cassante for Niles, and that's that Azir that we were talking about.
They're not going to go for it, though, because they have the Talia. Well, it could be a Yuuji Talia. Okay, so it is going to be a Yuuji Talia. So Yuuji going towards it. Not really any lockdown CC, though, for this pick, but it is Yuuji on a carry, which we are accustomed to seeing. And now, I wonder, we said split pushers for Srtty, but with the compositions that have been built, do you go back to something like the Rumble that we've seen Srtty play in the past? No, it's going to be a Gwen.
I was just going to say.
Big team fight pick and side lane pressure.
You might say it's a little bit too much magic damage, but it's something that goes well into the Cassante, and you can melt in these team fights as well as had that impact in the side lane.
Yeah, it's just going to be so difficult to deal with. Again, Srtty become a problem, right, that Maryville has to deal with. And we said in game 1 draft, force Niles to play Cassante. Well, now Niles is on the pick. And, I mean, look, he can play the pick really well, but it's just unanswerable against this Gwen. I think Gwen in general going to be unanswerable. You've got the double immunity fields as well of the Gwen and the Xin Zhao for double 80 carries and a Talia. That's your DPS.
I mean, it's 4 range champions
Yeah,
for
that's
Maryville.
tough.
There's going to be a lot of denial in terms of the damage that Maryville have to dish out to St. Louis. So things get a little bit scary. And St. Louis, I think they came away with another really great draft.
I think so too. Killing these guys, it's going to be agony, Grapes. It's going to be agony indeed because yeah, it's just going to be so difficult. I think the biggest thing that I'm looking at, Jerry and Zyko. On the Lucian Nami, they're going to be in a great position to try to take over this game, unlike game number 1.
Will it be match point for SLU, or are Maryville going to even things up? Before we load into game, we asked the players what it will take to beat their opponents. Here's what they had to say.
I think we just play how we practiced. I think our practice has been going super well, so I think if we just play how we practice on stage, then we will be holding a trophy in a few days or tomorrow.
The one thing that we need to beat SLU is definitely communication. Being able to communicate through all parts of the game and like being focused would definitely help us beating them.
We might not be able to hear what SkyTec had to say, but that's okay because the game's about to start. Game number 2 between SLU and Maryville. Our 2-time champions of the collegiate space took a blow in game number 1. It is their crosstown rivals, the underdogs here in St. Louis, that are now up in this series. Let's head on to the ring for game number 2.
Already, maybe a little bit of a scrap. SLU, they were the ones walking in looking for some vision. They get it. They want to spot out Yuuji, even forcing the flash off that Talia, Grapes.
Now we saw Airren and SkyTec, they moved towards mid lane, maybe threatening the ability of a lane swap, but instead they're going to go back to the standard lanes, and they're going to try to just play this out the old-fashioned way. I think it's beneficial for them if they can keep their bot lane alive, because it means Srtty's in a lane by himself in a very advantageous matchup.
Yeah, I want to point out as well, Scary Jerry taking the barrier. It's barrier heal for the Solution Nami, double combat summoners, no ignite, so not playing as much for the kill threat. But you talk about Srtty being alone, not so much. A Zyko is tier level 1.
There's a fish up in the top side. That's not supposed to happen. Niles popping the ghost onto Srtty already. Will it be matched by him instead? They're still looking for the damage. Srtty has to burn something quickly or he's going to go down early. It's going to just be less than 100 HP as the difference maker, but Niles striking first in game number 2.
Grapes, you seem so surprised to see a fish at the top side, but he was in the river. Isn't that where fish are?
Yeah, but normally they go south to north. That's like the migration thing that they do.
Oh,
you know? I'm a fish expert.
Right, and north is bottom lane in this case?
No. Traditionally, it's the... I don't have time to explain my expertise to you right now here, Hawk.
Okay, my bad,
All we have to say,
I shouldn't have questioned the fish expert. I'm a bird, what do I know?
so here's the thing. With Zyko going up to the top side of the map, that is actually Maryville initiating the lane swap. So they would prefer to make sure that Niles is not in a defining position and just sacrificing the ability to play this Lucian Nami lane for Scary Jerry and Zyko.
Yeah, we talked about the potential of SLU going for the lane swap, but I mean, clearly the priority is on denying Srtty more than it is on getting Scary Jerry and Zyko far ahead of their opposite number, which I'm going to be honest, I think this makes a lot of sense. We've seen teams do this. UST, great success in game number 1 of their series in lower finals last time, but in game 2, SLU got the better of them. So we have seen them at times be able to bounce back in the lane swap. The biggest thing to track is going to be how much experience is Srtty actually able to pick up on this Gwen.
Now remember, we're still on this patch where the top side turret, it doesn't take as much damage in the first 5 minutes. And with St. Louis getting there first to the bottom lane, they're going to be able to burst these plays open a little bit quicker than Maryville does.
Big thing to note though, again, still 14-9, it's only the 50% damage reduction, not the 75 on live. So lane swapping is still good. And again, the biggest thing is it's not even about how many turret plates you really get, it's about the XP.
Mid lane, Winnie looking for something, forcing the rocket jump out of Spirax early. DARKWINGS has that wave in a great spot and will force Spirax to either try to push this out or TP back into this lane.
So something that both these teams are doing are that they're having their top laners actually sit with the team and overstay after the bottom lane resets so that they can pick up some of the XP on these waves. I will say though, Srtty has actually 8-9 CS, so he's not just been soaking XP, he's been farming a little bit as well, so he should be ahead of Niles in the one-on-one, who's still level 1. SLU actually continuing to initiate the swap with the SkyTec moving top.
And that's the benefit of having the not having the damage reduction in the bottom lane, right? It took Maryville's bottom lane a little bit longer to get those 2 plates. I mean, Srtty got a couple of waves by himself before Scary Jerry and Zyko arrived, and he'll have a significant advantage in that top lane if he TP's back.
And so this is really interesting because SLU, I think, actually just tried to swap to the top side, anticipating Maryville to continue the swap, but Niles just stayed in the lane, so Srtty actually ends up expending the teleport to go and get the match that he wants. Again, he's up against Niles in the one-on-one. He actually even had the luxury of being able to base and get an amp tome, which does feel pretty good, but losing the summoner spell for it means that Yuuji is able to attack him. It's going to feel bad.
So I think both sides got the, side laner ahead in the way that they wanted to, right? St. Louis got Srtty ahead, and now in the bottom lane, it's Scary Jerry and Zyko with a bit of an advantage.
Look at this, though. We talk about everyone got what they wanted, but Yuuji is so far ahead of Winnie.
You're going to have to make a play right here if he wants to get things back. That dredge line could have been disastrous for Zyko. He flashes out and makes sure that Winnie stays behind. 20 CS is the deficit.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that, Grapes, because Winnie just completely getting denied the camps. It must have been the pressure that Maryville was able to get on the top side by forcing Srtty out. They probably got a 3-quadrant, and Winnie basically nothing to do, forced to gank, anticipated by Zyko, does lose the flash, but not losing his life is the big thing.
So we'll see how that ends up impacting the rest of this game. Hawk, down to the bottom lane, we're going to go ahead right back. Winnie now below 100 HP as Yuuji 2 levels up on his opposition, making his presence known and forcing the SLU jungler back.
We didn't really see how that one got started, but Maryville, great counterpunch, is going to give them access to the dragon as well. Winnie continuing to be denied. Hit a really solid game number 1, Grapes, on the Maokai. I don't think he did a ton, but he was very helpful for the team in their win. And Yuuji, when he's able to play like this is why he won MVP of the spring split for NACL.
Gonna pick up that dragon all by himself as well. That is something that St. Louis actually ended up claiming in game number 1. So already we're seeing Maryville take advantages and find leads in places that they did not earlier on in the series.
And at this point, we're already seeing a bit of a difference between these teams open up. Where Scary Jerry and Zyko, they've got a bit of a lead, as well as Yuuji. But Srtty, he's going to be the ever-present problem in the top lane. He's already got a pretty good, lead over Niles. Has the Haunting Guys now coming off the base, going to collect some of this wave. She's going to be probably 12 CS up once he gets it.
Max started to be channeled here by Scary Jerry and Zyko. Then they find the bubble onto SkyTec. It's a nice buffer up the dredge line to keep himself alive. But it's another wave going to be crashed. And look at Yuuji. He's headed his way down bottom.
Yeah, they want to go for the spot dive. Winnie's nowhere to be found. He's on the top side. Yuuji has a Weaver's Wall.
Will they confirm and commit to
go.
this dive? It's a 3v2, advantages in levels and numbers on the Saints side. It looks like the ultimate not even necessary just yet. Will the seismic shove connect? The target is SkyTec, and they are going to find it. It is first blood to Scary Jerry in game 2.
Donating it to Jerry. We wanted to see this player bounce back, and they're not done. Maybe looking for Airren, but the minion waits here.
One more tower shot. Woo! Summoner heal, MVP right there. Zyko pressing that button just in time.
Yeah, able to get away. But Jerry, we needed to see a different game number 2 from him. And we knew this player had that dog in him, Grapes, and making it happen early on, getting the first blood. Really nice play. Yuuji having a massive game 2 after struggling a bit in the first one.
And again, you mentioned it, Hawk. In that game number 1, Airren and SkyTec, they're pretty even with Zyko in terms of CS. In the reverse form of this matchup, now it's Jerry with a kill. He has a lead, and even though Airren and SkyTec got ahead, it was not this far ahead at this point in the game.
Yeah, it is looking rough right now for SkyTec. Look, again, you're still playing the Nautilus. The farm is nice, right? But Niles might have a bit of an all-in on the top side.
Pops the all out as well. There's the ghost as well. Srtty just gets killed. A 1v1 for Niles as Captain America is still up and running.
Yeah, he's got the ghost advantage and now fighting mid.
And that's another kill. Yuuji picking it up on the DARKWINGS as well. Maryville taking over on the top side and in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, Maryville just, their solo laners coming alive in this series. Yuuji as well. Everybody getting it done. Yuuji picking up the kill for himself. Niles, easy solo kill. Again, Niles, he's a great top laner in his own right. You cannot sleep on this, guys. We will get another look at this all-in. Srtty,
just a little too aggressive. He walked right in, and then the all-out came through from Niles, and it was just a one-shot.
Yeah, it was all too easy. Not able to see exactly what happened right there, but I mean, Srtty clearly just overestimating how strong he would be in the mid-play. Yuuji, I mean, basically just finding him solo.
So it's 3-0 Saints.
Winnie's behind.
And Winnie is looking to try and get SLU on the board. First engage onto Zyko, has not popped the Audacious Charge just yet, but it's matched by Yuuji all too easily, and now Winnie becomes the target. Scary Jerry gets another. SkyTec the next to fall. It is all MU in game number 2.
Clearly, they took that game number 1 personally, Grapes, as they are rampaging over to the map. And look, I've got to say, SLU, they got the lead in game 1. They fumbled it a little bit. Maryville very accustomed to closing out games once they get leads. This is the Saints that we know and love. Yuuji on fire in this second one. He's got 4 KP to his name.
This is the game. This is the Maryville versus SLU style of game that we saw a couple months ago in the North Conference Finals. Maryville won a very convincing 3-0 over the Billikens in that matchup to claim, I think, their 8th straight North Conference title.
That's a legacy.
SLU have gotten better. They have gone on this miracle run. However, we're back at that point right now, Hawk. At least it looks like it.
And it just goes to show as well, SLU had the work for that first game win. And while Maryville, obviously, job's not done yet here in Game 2, they are 3,000 gold in the lead at 10 minutes. This is definitely a quicker pace than we saw from the Billikens in that first one.
Biggest lead right now, once again, the Lucian. Seems like Lucian's pretty powerful here in this series.
Maybe a pretty good champion. Guys, maybe if we played for bot lane prio instead of picking Senna, we would actually maybe have some more fun. I don't know. Crazy.
ME right now, they're going to use that bottom lane pressure to make their way towards that dragon. It spawns in 40 seconds. Made a quick turn towards mid, forced DARKWINGS to pop the Hwei ultimate, which means that's not going to be available in a potential team fight. I'm expecting MU to go up 2-0 in the Drakes.
And Winnie knows he can't fight in the bottom side of the map at all. He's just purely looking for cross-mats, but Niles not really giving him a window. Sure, he's down a little CS, but remember, with that solo kill, it means he's pretty much even with Srtty. I mean, he's going to step up to the wave, but he's got control ward covering. MU, meanwhile, full control of the bottom side, just forcing SkyTec, and Airren off of the tower. SkyTec even going for a roam, knowing that there's just nothing to do on this side of the map.
Well, if they can find a kill onto Niles, it's honestly not a bad trade given the circumstances, right? Maryville going to get that dragon pretty easily if they ever want to, and so now St. Louis turning their sights on to the top laner. The Cassante has that wave under his turret. He's going to clear it out nicely with that third proc of the Intofo strikes. We'll see if SLU keep going. We talk about overextension sometime with Winnie. This might be one of them if things go awry.
Time for Niles to prove how much of a rock he can be, Grapes.
Has the all-out. Nice use of the Pathmaker. Finds the stun just onto one. Pops the all-out as well, but it will be the kill as Winnie picks it up. It was a telegraph play. Maryville knew what was happening, but SLU still delivered.
Yeah, I think Niles just has to give that wave. It's a little greedy to stay under that tower. I understand you don't want to watch those minions die, but the only play for SLU is to go top lane right there. Unfortunately, Srtty not the one to get the kill. SLU will also pick up the 6 grubs, so credit to them for being able to trade something back, but still quite far behind the pace of this game as Zyko is poking his head in at Winnie.
He's going really aggressive. I mean, Spirax is close-ish, but it's actually going to be enough to push Winnie and SkyTec away. Actually, here comes the tidal wave as well. Spirax is going to jump forward here with the W. Winnie popping the ulti. The double bubble coming out from Zyko, predicting the flash and getting the kill onto the SLU jungler. It's the double kill for Spirax.
Zyko, are you kidding me? We got to get a replay of that bubble, man. He finds the predict double bubble, resulting in 2 kills. I love this chase from MU when you're this far ahead. Don't let him cross-map if you don't have to. Zyko knows he's strong. Spirax jumping in. Winnie flashing too late, and that bubble is insane.
He might have just been going for Airren, but, Zyko, he can predict it.
He
can just say,
he saw the future.
I saw the
He
future.
saw the future.
I had the prediction in mind, and it was a big impact play here for Maryville. As soon as you saw St. Louis get a little bit of momentum, Hawk, they got the 1 kill. They secure at least the Void Might spawning, but Maryville, they punch right back again.
Grapes, I know we got one Doc in the building. Did he invent a flux capacitor too? He's already done so much here for this production. Yeah, because clearly Zyko seeing the future. I got to give credit to this MU bot lane. They really, I don't think, had a great game in Game 1, and they've completely come alive here in the series.
Now, what can SLU do to continue to get back into this one? You look across the map, and it is Srtty who has the lead. He's the only person who is up in CS. I'm pretty sure he's up in gold as well. Everybody else on the back foot right now, and this is, what we talked about. Srtty can be that main character. He's gonna have to keep split pushing, keep getting stronger, and then maybe eventually be the one to turn around a really big team fight.
I mean, maybe, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. 4,000 gold lead at 13.5 minutes. This game is looking pretty cooked for SLU, and I think there's a few things we can take away. One, SLU, once again, not really getting the better of the lane swap, even though Srtty actually came out in a decent position, and then 2, Senna just really not seeming like the pick. I think bottom lane has been much more impactful than we expected, I will say.
Hook lands on a Zyko, the root as well on top. But look at Winnie, he's stuck in a 1v3. He's going to go down to Spirax, who's now in a killing spree. Srtty pops teleport a little bit too early. He's going to have to ghost and dash away. 1-0 plus a couple of sums MU's way.
Oh, Srtty walking back in. Oh, no.
No, Niles pathfinders him away, goes all out and tries to take Srtty down. He has the needlework, one more proc of the ulti, but it's not enough for him to pick up a kill. Spiraling Despair will lock down Spirax, and now SLU have a little bit of help in the HP department. Spirax will be forced to go back to base, but it is no kills for SLU.
And Maryville has priority on the middle lane, even though they're forced away by SLU. It's still just a 1-0. Srtty lucky to get out alive. Scary Jerry not going to get this tower, but a lot of damage down towards it. And I think MU next priority going to be over towards that Rift Herald. Should be able to open up mid once they secure it. Srtty at least getting something back for himself. Look, this Gwen is still strong. The problem is the rest of the map is completely gone awry.
Mid lane now the next target. This is what we talked about with SLU in game number 1. You can use that Lucian Nami to push anybody out of lane with this combo. You pop the culling, SkyTec already has to go away defensively, and that allows for mid lane turrets to just melt. Unless SLU has anything to say about it, they're going to clear at least one more wave, but that turret is just waiting to crumble.
Yeah, Lucian not the best tower taker, but best tower
top side, Winnie. He picks up a kill on a Yuuji with the Airren ultimate coming through. A 1-for-1 trade as Scary Jerry dashes in to take one back. But that is the aggression that we see out of Winnie. Now in the mid lane, looking for another trade. Zyko does have the flash. He's waiting to use the summoner spell, but he is caught between SkyTec and Airren. Here comes Srtty, dashing forward, has the needlework as well. The Shroud going to prevent that knockup of the tidal wave, but they will not be able to find themselves a kill.
Yeah, and barely not able to find it. It was SLU that started the play with Srtty coming from behind, but ultimately, Winnie, I think you take those in that 1-for-1 on the top side. I mean, Yuuji, unfortunately, only 1 kill, not actually a shutdown, but I mean, Winnie, he's actually the only one with kills on his side. He's, you know, at this point, anything you can get.
Now they force a flash out of DARKWINGS as well. That bomb goes tick, tick, boom, but not going to go over the threshold. Instead, it'll be DARKWINGS still able to clear out the top side, but it's still looking pretty desperate here for SLU. They're going to look for another play potentially. Look at Srtty. He's hovering around top lane as well.
Yeah, SLU is completely overloading this side. They're not wanting to give open this Herald. I'm wondering if the call is the more time we can force MU to use to open up this map, the more time we actually have to survive in this game. Unfortunately, there's no fighting for this Rift Herald, so maybe just a lane reassignment. DARKWINGS, his Ren has expired up in the top lane, going back now down towards bottom, try to pick up that wave.
So despite St. Louis sending a lot of resources top, it will be Maryville grabbing that Rift Herald. They can use it likely in that mid lane to break open that tier 2 that just opens up so much space for a team with the Lucian Nami in that lane. Srtty and Spirax now jousting a little bit, but it will be just the rocket jump away.
It's an objective bounty, though, available on this top lane tower. Again, you know, Maryville's actually a little bit behind this play. I like this overload from SLU. They lose out on map pressure with that mid tower going down, but it was pretty much a formality. Able to trade gold positive by getting the objective bounty for themselves, closing the gap to about 3K. You know, it's still a lot, but at 17 minutes, it's not nearly as bad as it was earlier.
And we talked about how Maryville in game 1 had the scaling composition, so even though they were behind, if they could continue to stay in this game, you know, then they had a chance, and we saw it in that first game. However, while SLU do have scaling champions, they have the Gwen, they have the Hwei, they have the Senna. Maryville's composition scales pretty well itself with the Talia and the Tristana.
Yeah, and a big part of the scaling this game comes down to SLU. They want their front line to survive for a really, really long time. They don't really have the true tank. I mean, Nautilus kind of, right, but he's on welfare a little bit this game, Grapes. But Gwen's in can buy so much time alongside with the Senna behind. But when you're behind like this, your time buying ability drastically goes down because you just get one shot by everyone. So I do think SLU can't exactly bank on scaling. They really needed to come alive a bit in this mid game, and while they have kept things somewhat close, I think once this Hex Soul comes up, it's going to be very doomed. Srtty now very far up.
Oh, look at the teleport, though. SkyTec looking to try to make this a 2v2. However, it will be matched by another. Spirax joining the fight. Srtty still able to survive, but look at Scary Jerry on the other side. Buster shot out from Spirax, sending him right into the claws of Scary Jerry in the Maryville bottom lane. Another bubble lands from Zyko, and MU go 2 looking for 3, all against nothing on the other side from the Billikens.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they get a bit of damage on this mid tower, but SLU, they went for the big play. Niles, though, you talk about time buying. He was able to stay alive on that side TP, even to defend this mid tower from Maryville.
And they can't even get that. Niles protects mid, Maryville get bot, and the gold lead once again spreading out to about almost 5,500. MU solidly in control. looks like they're going to be able to even up this series, Hawk.
Yeah, most certainly. I don't think SLU really has any ways back in. Hextech Soul spawning in 3 minutes. 3 minutes to make a miracle if you're SLU. That's not too much time.
6,000. Now the lead. We're not looking at a ton of major objectives spawning just yet. The one thing is that Baron spawning in about a minute. I don't know if Maryville far enough ahead. Instead, they're going to look for plays like this. Darkwings caught behind the Weaver's wall. However, Winnie here to defend him. Niles is tanking on this front line. Is he tanking up for a 1v5? I don't think so. SLU get themselves back into this game as Srtty picks up the kill.
Spirax free pushing top lane. Maryville goes for the collapse on mid. Not expecting SLU to be able to answer. Ultimately, it's going to be a pretty even play. The kill traded for the top lane tier 1. But Maryville, a little bit of a lack of discipline, I will say, Graves. A lot of their losses have come from that aforementioned.
Look at Winnie. Another bubble lands from Zyko over the Crescent Guard, keeping him alive. That's the power of Xin Zhao against this composition. It allows the SLU jungler to survive, and they go towards the mid lane. Hook lands onto one. Scary Jerry will get rooted up alongside Yuuji, and that is St. Louis marching down mid. They get a bounty, and they get yet another kill.
And that's one of those big shutdowns. It's an objective bounty, but Jerry was 5-0-4. Finally falling. Spirax, meanwhile, does get 2 top towers, but Grapes, I wonder if that was the right decision instead of coming down towards mid to try and defend. I think SLU going to be very happy about taking all of the outer towers now in this game.
And despite the kills looking that way, the fact that they have been able to break open these structures is big, not just for getting gold into people's hands, but allowing for this map to be opened up a little bit more for Srtty.
And we saw a little bit of that time buying on display. Srtty able to frontline for so long in the Hallowed Mist, then the Crescent Guard later from Winnie, and look at the summoners. DARKWINGS doesn't have his flash, SkyTec not his, but Jerry and Zyko and Yuuji are now completely out of summoners from that entire play. So Maryville actually invested more to trade down while they're the team that's ahead. So even though their game state is still really good, up 6,000, it is a bit of a trepidatious fight that they need to approach.
It's still tough for SLU. Let's not discount Maryville's strength and power in this game. However, we're seeing angles where they can take small advantages. It comes with the way that their team comp is built. It comes with certain shutdowns and certain objective bounties being collected by them. We just got to wait for these next objectives. Maryville still have the opportunity to force a fight. It is going to be sold for them in less than a minute.
Yeah, and Maryville is still able to push up their waves so far. I mean, SLU is going to be forced to face check. They have no wards basically anywhere, Grapes, and that is going to make things very daunting. A lot of darkness. The night is dark and full of terrors.
No vision, as you said, for SLU. They're going to have to guess or just force an engage. SkyTec tries to with the dredge line, but it does not connect. Niles going to actually dash forward, looking for a proc of the Intofo strikes, but they do not find a knockback. Now SLU have an opportunity to go back in. SkyTec going way too far forward, or is he? Niles is chunked down to half. There comes the seismic shove. SkyTec will go down as Zyko collects the kill. Now it's a 5v4, and screw the dragon. Maryville want blood. The tidal wave finds 2. Airren and Winnie forced out of the fight, and without that ultimate, it'll be MU pushing down mid.
Thanks SLU though, they know that this game is lost if they can't against Dragon.
Oh, Darkwing's in trouble. There comes the all-out as well. Spirax picks up the kill, and now he can go ballistic with these resets. He rocket jumps back. Srtty still level 12, trying to dash in onto Niles, but it's just not enough. It's a double kill for Spirax. He's jumping forward. Airren the last to fall, and it's an ace for the Maryville Saints.
Oh, and a little bit of BM coming out after the fight from Zyko right there. Maryville crossing some T's, dotting some I's, but this game too looking like it's going to equalize our series. They can go for the Dragon, they can go for the Baron, double 80 carries will melt it. St. Louis, I think they knew that if they don't win that fight, the game's cooked anyway, so once SkyTec dies, they just keep trying. Unfortunately, Maryville not to be outplayed in this moment. A nice fight from them, a nice game from them.
And it all started, again, with the lane swaps, right? It was Maryville who initiated it. We've seen SLU struggle in these setups before, and they did not get their pieces in the exact ways that they wanted, specifically in the jungle.
And I think at this point, we got to start looking at some of the adjustments, right? We talked a little bit earlier, like, guys, Senna is not looking like the pick. Bottom lane priority is so big, but I'm also going to say, Talia, this champion has been massive. It was a seismic shove onto SkyTec that essentially won the fight there for Maryville in this last one. In game 1, we talked at length about how good DARKWINGS was with the skill shot in his own right. And we saw B1 last game. It was R1 in game 1. I mean, this champion seeming to be a problem. I always love these best of 5 series, Fearless or not, right? Because even here without the Fearless, we see a little meta start to crop up as to what champions become strong, regardless of the meta.
Now SLU right now, they have pushed in the mid lane, It is matched, however, by Yuuji Spirax on the top side of the map. They're trying to burst open this inhibitor turret in the top lane. And so St. Louis, the question is, how far will they go? They claim the objective bounty in the tier 2, but they're going to lose their base if they don't head back.
Guys, we got to go back to base. Spirax is going to push down this inhibitor like it's nothing, and no Baron-empowered recall to be able to defend. I mean, I think maybe the read is that they can't defend their inhibitors anyway. May as well pre-push the other 2 lanes. It should make Maryville spend basically the rest of their Baron just trying to escort the waves up to the towers, meaning that they shouldn't be able to take too much. As I say that, though, Jerry already on the mid.
Fast enough for Maryville to hit onto more. Mid lane tier 2, the last one to fall in that range, and they might get a little bit of extra on the side. SkyTec was caught out of position, but look at Airren in trouble with the tidal wave coming out. Winnie on the flank. They're looking for Scary Jerry. He dashes away. Does he find enough escape potential? Yes, he does. Jerry will survive. Spirax goes godlike, and now Maryville can Goomba stop all over the opposition. It's another one. There's the jump forward. They will flee him away, and Airren will get the 1,000 gold shutdown, but it is still a big team fight win for Maryville.
Yeah, maybe a band going his way, but I don't think a few Hamiltons are gonna be enough for Airren to pull out this game. Look, love him or hate him, that's why you gotta respect Winnie right there, going for broke with that flank, almost finding Jerry, but at this point, I mean, Maryville, they're just way too strong, playing that fight, out that fight calmly and not allowing SLU to break open the game.
It was a good look from Winnie. You know, he came around on the flank, almost found the kill on a Scary Jerry. If they were able to get it just a little bit earlier, Hawk, it could have been the start of something. However, it was not enough, and so it will be SLU still pretty far behind that gold lead, nearing 10K. Elder Dragon in 3 minutes, Baron in 3 minutes. Maryville just going to continue to get stronger, as it is so hard for SLU to push forward in any of these 3 lanes.
All the bottom lane flashes were blown in that play, but 3 items for everybody on Maryville that it really matters, and SLU, not quite there. DARKWINGS, I will say, he's actually pretty strong. 2, 2, and 3 on this way, 253 CS, 10 per minute. He's got the Daisy to his name, the Crypt Bloom right there, so that is something, but I mean, again, I feel like at this point we're just waiting for the long, slow twist of the knife here for Maryville. It just feels like a mistake from SLU is really what they're preying on at this point.
Will they find it? I mean, so far it's been a very clean game for MU, right? From the start, even though they, you know, lost a little bit in the CS department top lane, their map movements have been pristine. They're going to use the Weaver's Wall to pick up another tier 3 turret. And so MU going to continue to add to their leaderboard. And St. Louis, they're probably going to have to just start looking ahead, right? Game 3, what can they do instead to make sure that they don't fall behind even more?
Avoid lane swaps. Get Srtty into the right lane assignment. That was a big point coming into the series, was not necessarily avoiding lane swaps, but just making sure you're able to get lane assignments right. I think this game, SLU did okay on it, but the big price was paid in jungle. I mean, Zyko and Yuuji just really took it to Winnie. And, I mean, now Baron still 2 minutes away, Elder still 2 minutes away. I'm honestly surprised we're getting to this point in the game. Of course, it's barely 27 minutes in. It has been a fast game, but that's just how accelerated the pace has been.
Baron has spawned. It looks like MU have a lot of control. You look at the picture-in-picture, there's just no vision for St. Louis around there. So even though that they know that they're mid, as soon as MU retreat, St. Louis have to just be on high alert.
Niles is getting chunked out. I mean, Maryville doesn't really want to dive into SLU's base, and SLU doing a good job of understanding that. They're picking their own lines of scrimmage. The problem's going to come, of course, when the neutrals come up at some point.
Oh, look at the seismic shove as Yuuji will pick up a double for Scary Jerry. The Talia play in this grand finals has been excellent, and we're seeing it here on the Maryville Jungler.
Okay, you know what? As soon as SLU steps out of the base, what a legendary caster curse, because they immediately died, Grapes. You're not allowed to leave. MU doing a great job of keeping him jailed.
Oh, man. I mean, remember even game 1? Where Yuuji stole away the Talia body and landed some really good seismic shoves. That should have been a sign, maybe, that that could be a problem for St. Louis. Now, in a 3v5, it's Maryville looking to go forward, but Winnie instead countering with an engage of his own. They force Yuuji to go golden.
So tower.
He gets knocked up. The redemption out of Zyko, still keeping him alive, and there's just not enough damage. Srtty not able to get into the fight, and with Airren respawning, it should still not be enough for SLU to take control. The inhibitors do not go down, which is crucial at this stage in the game.
Whoa, SkyTec!
Maryville still in a good position. Teleport on the other side. SkyTec knows that this could be the end.
They got Airren!
Go forward. They take down Airren. SkyTec now left out to dry a little bit. Srtty getting caught up by the bubble, making sure sure that nobody can go down. Depth charge on a Scary Jerry. Will they find the damage? I don't think so, as SkyTec will drop. MU still stand 5 strong. They force Srtty to go golden. They're looking for DARKWINGS next, and it is all but over here in game number 2.
Maryville sniffing out the teleport, finding Airren and gunning him down. A big bounce back, and if it was any doubt, we've got a series Maryville Saints finding their first game win.
It's just Winnie to defend. He's going to just sit back and start contemplating what SLU can do to get back into this series. MU even things up. We're 1-1 in the CLOL Grand Finals.
And